Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Everyone saranai. Good evening, everyone. So today we are continuing with our lecture series on the Dhammavinichchaya based on Rerukane Chandaveda Mahathera's book. So I'll be discussing only one topic today because since I just came from Colombo, it was quite a tiring journey. So I'll be just continuing. I'll discuss only one topic about which is found in the Dhammavinichchaya book, and which is a sort of a practical thing that most of us encounter these days. So the question is, how are the relics of the omniscient one identified? That means Buddha's relics. There are a lot of Buddha's relics, and how could we identify them clearly? And how can we sure of whether these are real relics or not? So there is a criteria given in the Theravada texts, and which will be quite challenging to match with the relics that we have at hand, most of the relics, but it's worthy of knowing this criteria, and so therefore we'll be able to identify them clearly. But when we discuss with the archaeological some findings or naturalistic findings, one may keep on arguing on this fact because what are the things that are found in some archaeological sites would suggest normal types of bones, or if we are going to respect this criteria given in the books, we have to disregard those findings as the Buddha's relics, because we have a very clear explanation given in the books. So how are the relics of the omniscient one identified? There is no miraculous sign by which one can definitely recognize that certain relics are truly the relics of the omniscient one. So there are no signs, no particular miracles that are going to happen. Relics may perform miracles, but it is not for certainty. That's the point here. So there are incidences where the tooth relic of the Buddha is claimed to have or is mentioned to have performed certain miraculous acts, and they happen very seldom and only on specific occasions. But it's not a guarantee that they would always have such powers and they would always perform such activity. So that's why Mahathera is saying there is no such a sign by which one can definitely recognize that certain relics are truly the relics of the omniscient one. They don't emit rays normally, and they don't levitate in the sky, and there's no such visible things normally happening. Generally, relics can only be identified by the size, color, and shape. So these are the three characteristics that are given in the books regarding the identification of relics. If my memory is correct, I think this is found in the end of the Mahaparinibbana Sutta. Yeah, if my memory is correct, or it is found in the commentaries. So anyway, we have three criteria, that is size, then we have color, and then shape. Right? Color, shape. So the first is after the cremation of the Buddha's blessed one's sacred body, the forehead's relic. Forehead is lalata dhatu, which we call. There is a forehead relic, the four tooth relics, and the two collarbone relics. Tooth relics are danta dhatus, and collarbones are called akka dhatu in Pali. So the right collarbone is said to be located or enshrined in the Tuparama pagoda. I'm not sure about the left collarbone where it is, but anyway, these 7 bones were intact. So they didn't they didn't break into pieces, remained intact. So, and also now we have seven relics which are intact. They are the forehead, forehead bone, teeth. So it mentions about 4 teeth, and those are the canines that remained, the canines. Then we have 2 collarbones. So these are the 7 relics that remain. But according to the commentary or the Mula, I forgot actually, but it is also mentioned, I think in the commentaries it is mentioned, the remaining 36 teeth, because he is said to have a complete jaw, to have complete 2 sets of jaws, which is filled with teeth. And normally, if we have teeth more than 32, they will be really packed, and they would disturb the that doesn't look nice normally in an ordinary person. But since Buddha was a great human, a great man, he had a complete jaws with all the teeth. So 20 on the upper jaw and the 20 on the lower jaw. Then, therefore, we have, when we leave apart the 4 canine teeth, one which is believed to be in the tooth relic pagoda in Kandy, and one Eka Data Tidasapure, one is taken to the Tavatinsar, and Eka Nagapureyahu, one has gone to the Naga realm. Eka Gandhara Visay, one it is in the Gandhara, country of Gandhara. And some claim it came to China later on, but I'm not sure looking at the shape of that tooth. So anyway, then Eka Apipunasihale, one was brought to Sri Lanka. And some also claim that the tooth relic which was in the Naga realm was brought into Somavati Chetia in the eastern side of Sri Lanka, and they are just historical. I don't know whether it's hearsay, or whether it's something recorded. Anyway, so some believe that the other relic is in the Somavati, and some also believe that the canine teeth are found in some other places. But these are the mainstream belief about the 4 canine teeth. And the remaining 36 teeth, it is said in the books that they were taken by the deities or the devas who came to the Buddha's cremation from other world cycles. Not within this world cycle, but from other world cycles. They took away the other remaining teeth. So according to that, only 36 could have taken. Then there were 10,000 world cycles. So many must have gone empty-handed, or maybe I don't know whether they took some other relics. But anyway, the remaining teeth were said to be taken away. So they also remain intact. So it means normally the 7 bonds, Bhavan relics remain in our world, and then you add the 36 altogether, 43 relics remained intact. Right. The other body parts, bone parts actually, they were burnt into like pieces, so they became pieces, but they looked very nice, and they had a certain shape rather than just mere broken bones. So that's also we can assume, given the paramis the Buddha had fulfilled and his great nature, miraculous nature, any special things are possible with him. So all the other bones of the body transformed into small relics, and we have 3 types. Among them, large relics are about the size of split mung bean. About this now, if I erase the 7 or the relics which didn't get burned, then we have the 3 sizes. Now, the larger one is a split mung bean. Split mung bean. For the Sinhalese listeners, it's called mungpiali. Sometimes we can assume mungpiali, the top layer of the or the cover of the mung beans, but sometimes we translate it as half of the, when the mung bean is split into two, one part of it. So that is split mung bean, and sometimes maybe they may, so normally it's like a cover doesn't look like a relic because it has a hollow inside. So normally when a grain, because body parts remained as pieces, so it's justifiable to think that when the mung bean is divided into two splits, so they were referring to one half. So there's a large size mung beans, relics. The medium relics are about the size of broken rice grain. Broken rice grain. So normally in Sinhalese we call kada sahal. They're the broken ones. Normally they are split into two. Then the small relics are the size of a sesame mustard seed, actually. Yeah, mustard. Sesame is thala, mustard is abba, mustard seed. So they are the minus. So then the size and the shape also comes here. And so they go together when you are talking about a size of a certain, because there's no such a measurement, and the shape also can be assumed by that, through that. Then among the color comes next. The larger relics are of golden color. DEN, right? Sorry. Golden color. Then the medium relics are the color of pearls, right? Pearls. Then the minor ones, the smaller ones, jasmine buds, kakulu buds, picture, samam picture, kakulu. Then, so these are the three colors. So golden color, one is golden color. The medium sized ones are pearl color, should be whitish, I think, shining. Then jasmine bud colors, they are not completely white. I'm not sure, I cannot exactly say what color it is now. There's reddish, sort of a reddish color is there as far as I remember. So therefore these are the three colors. Then if something called a relic is larger than, now this is the measurement, this is the criteria. If something someone calls or claims to be a relic is larger than the split mung bean, if it's above that, it's not a relic. Then if it is smaller than the mustard seed, it's also not a relic. It's also not a relic. So if something called a relic is larger than a split mung bean, it should be understood that it is not a genuine relic. If it is smaller than a mustard seed, it may also not be a genuine relic. If it is about the size of a split mung bean, now it has to be within this range, okay? Now then we are going specifically saying if it is the size of the split mung bean, and if it is not, it lacks the golden color, it may or not be a genuine relic. If it is about half the size of a rice grain, but does not have the pearl color of pearl-like color, there's a spelling mistake, pearl-like color, it may not be a genuine relic. If it is about the size of a mustard seed but does not have the color of jasmine buds, it may not be a genuine relic. So normally it's not genuine relics as the tradition claims. So it's a sort of a match has to be there. So then we have to consider if something is a genuine relic according to the tradition, it has to fit this criteria, to match this criteria. In this world, it is possible to manufacture things that resemble almost anything. Therefore, even if these, and it also naturally, such things can occur. Therefore, even if these characteristics are present, it is still not possible to definitely conclude that something is truly a relic of the omniscient one. So even you can see all these criteria, because you can make anything of this size and of this color. You can manufacture anything. So just having the size and the color is not a guarantee that this is an actual relic. The Manoratha Purani commentary states that relics which do not receive proper honor and offerings will, according to the determination of the Tathagata, move to places where they are properly venerated. This is mentioned in the commentaries that if we are not, if it is a real relic and if it is not receiving the genuine veneration or the due respect, it will move. So how does it move? Some would say deities are taking it away, and some would say it naturally goes by itself because of the power of the Buddha, and it seems like that because the statement says. So because of the power determination of the Buddha, they move to places where they are properly venerated. Then the question comes, how can it go through? Now, normally relics are placed in a casket. So how can it go through the casket? And some I have heard some have said that the number of relics do increase sometimes, and sometimes they decrease, and they have just vanished into thin air. Thin air means like they have gone somewhere, and we are unable to explain that. Even though the casket was fully sealed, such events are recorded in some places where relics are believed to be So and also now when we talk about the miracles done by the yogis who have attained abhinyanas, and these are things that they can do. Sometimes they can go through walls, they can go through mountains, they can dip into the earth and go through the earth, they can fly in the sky. All these are possibilities through the psychic powers of jhanas. So therefore, and now we are talking about the relics of the omniscient one, the Buddha, and who was the foremost in all these attainments and all these vidyas and so forth. And he can do weird and special stuff because with this determination and with this paramis and also the environment complies with him. So therefore, it's not a surprise if someone says that relics do go through the hard surface, which are possible. One will not be able to explain this scientifically, I would say, but according to the Theravada fundamentals, it is a possibility because such things can change through the determination of the Buddha. And Buddha is the one who has reached a very special level in the spirituality, and he could do such weird things that even normal abhinyalabhis or the yogis or the psychic men or the recluses could not do. Then, when the Buddha's dispensation declines, it is said that all the relics of the omniscient one in Sri Lanka will gather at Ruwanmeli Mahasaya in Anuradhapura. Oh, that's a very nice story mentioned in the commentaries. All the relics in Sri Lanka, which are located in all the 4 directions, every corner, would gather into Ruwanmeli Mahachetya, Anuradhapura, and from there all the relics will proceed to Rajayatana Chetya in Nagadeepa, and then it goes to the Nagadeepa. And afterward, it will go to the great Bodhi site in India, the Mahabodhi tree. First, they gather into Mahachetya in Anuradhapura when the Sasana declines and dispensation is about to vanish. And then they go to the Nagadeepa, where Buddha is believed to have visited Sri Lanka for the 2nd time. And there's a Rajayatana tree, I think, which was according to the information given in the Nagadeepa, that was brought by a deity. And then it will travel to the Mahabodhi in India, and there what will happen is relics that exist in Naga world, Deva world and Brahma world will also assemble there. So all the relics, and also surely the relics that were taken into the other world cycles, will also gather there. All these relics will unite and form the image of the Buddha. So surely they are not suffice material wise, they are not equal to the size of the Buddha's body, because they are the remainings of the bones, and the flesh, blood, and everything was gone, were burnt out. So the relics are not capable of completely making the structure of the Buddha, as far as I think, but due to the miracle that, or the determination of the Buddha, they will be the underlying structure, and somehow with their constitution, Buddha's body will appear. So I think that certain new matter, or new matter means some other Uttuja matter will compose the body, while the relics would also join maybe inside or outside, whatever. Because technically speaking, we have a lesser amount of relics in terms of physical matter than the matter we had in the Buddha's physical body. So there, all these relics will unite and form the image of the Buddha, radiating Buddha rays that spread across 10,000 world systems, after which they will burn and disappear. And this is also mentioned in the commentaries, that is how the dispensation of the Buddha would end. So after that, Buddha's dispensation is considered to have end, Gautama Buddha, because it started from the moment he was conceived in the mother's womb, or the Maya Devi was conceived with the Bodhisattva, and then the real Buddhapada appeared when he became enlightened under the Bodhi tree, and then afterwards it lasted for 45 years while he was alive, and then now it's his dispensation, Buddha's dispensation is continuing, while the monks are holding the sort of authority. Authority means like Dhammavinichchaya will be the constitution, the higher law and the higher guiding rule, but the monks are handling it, propagating it, and then it would eventually have ups and downs time to time. That's natural to any dispensation regardless of the religion, and then finally it would, following the nature of law of impermanence, it would finally end up and it will vanish. Then the Buddha's dispensation will be lost in the human realm. It will last for a much longer time among the deities, but the dispensation cannot last in the hands of lay people. Nothing to say about the deities who are fully involved in the sensual pleasures. But it will last longer in the Brahma worlds, but eventually that would not be very effective to the human realm. Then the new Buddhapada starts when the Metteyya Bodhisattva will emerge in the world. Then Buddha rays and spread across the 10,000 worlds, after which they will burn and disappear. That's the time the relics would completely vanish from the world. So they are the Buddha statue, the made Buddha relic, Buddha image would emit rays, and it is mentioned in the Pujavali. Yeah, I don't know whether, I haven't read the commentarial statement on this, but I have read it in the Pujavali that says that that Buddha statue would preach Dhamma for the last time to the entire world. So that's the, now we normally believe that Buddha preached the last words to the monks, saying that everything is impermanent, so be diligent and try to attain the liberation within this life as soon as possible. But according to this explanation, as I read it in Pujavali, maybe it's found in the commentaries as well. So the Nirmita, the created image of the Buddha would preach Dhamma to the world. And it is also mentioned in the book that the people of that era, of that epoch, will not be able to understand his teaching. So it will not be visible to the humans. But this miraculous thing, it will not be visible to the humans. Only the deities and the Brahmas will hear this sermon, and they will attain. Some would attain Maggapala by listening to that sermon even. So if you are planning and if you are really devoted and believing this story, there's a nice opportunity here. Like surely if you are born into a Deva realm or a Brahma realm, this event, you will be able to witness this event, because this will happen if we take that 5,000 years as the final time scale of the Buddha's dispensation, as mentioned in the commentaries, because Adhigama Saddhamma will disappear there. I'm not sure whether it will last any lag further, but the last 5,000 years, then there will be no noble beings afterwards. Maybe it may last for some time, or maybe the Dhatu Parinibbana will also happen at the age of 5,000. But even if it takes some time, or even it happens at the 5,000 years, you will surely outlive that period. Even you are born in the lowest divine realm, which has 9 million years, human years in terms of lifespan. If you are allowed to live the entire full lifespan, 5,000 is nothing compared to that. So now we have already spent 2,500 plus after the Buddha's Parinibban, 2,568 or 9, I actually forgot that. So now I think 2000, this is 70, or I think 70 or 70 something, 2,570 or something, so 69 or 70. So now surely there is only another few thousands left. So if someone is born in the divine realm, according to this story, if this is going to happen, you'll be able to, unless you are completely indulging sensual pleasures and forgot to the level that even to go to eating and all this. So otherwise they will have the opportunity to come and see this, and they will be able to listen to the Buddha's talk. He is not alive, and the preaching will happen as he has determined. He have already determined about this according to the chronicles, according to the teachings. So he will be preaching a certain Dhamma, maybe a Dhamma about 4 noble truths for sure. That's why it said some would attain nobility in listen to that talk. So there is also a opportunity, because humans are not going to listen to that, as it is mentioned in the Pujavali, because humans have higher level of degree of defilements by then, because the world was heading towards the Sattva Vinasa, and more of anger will be spread among the world, because in the coming future, as Buddha has stated in the Chakravarti Sihanada Sutta, the destruction is going to happen with a war or a fight. It's a global fight which is going to happen. And maybe in this, if you look it into the today's context, maybe countries will be fighting against each other, or maybe humans will lose their conscience and start killing each other, as it is shown in some zombie stories and also so forth. And anyway, so therefore at that time when the Sattva Vinasa is happening, it's before the Dhatu Parinibbana. According, if we follow the commentarial standards, which says that every 100 years our lifespan drops with 1. If you take the Buddha's lifespan was 100, it will not be in agreement with the medical evidences, because in medical science normally it is said the lifespan is measured by the average time people are living, because olden days people died with many people died with sickness and natural tragedies, and also due to conflicts and war. Therefore, if you take the lifespan, normally we take the entire people, and normally it's done mathematically done. I'm not sure about the equation, but normally it comes with the rate how long people are able to live. Even natural disasters and all these are counted. But when we are talking about the lifespan in Buddhism, we are talking how long a person could endure his life or body if there is no external interfering coming on. So if he was given the opportunity to live the full course of the life without any interference of laxity of food, or due to diseases or external fighting, or any murder or any harm to his body, then how long he would live. So in Buddhism, in Theravada teachings, we believe that during the Buddha's time, people had a lifespan of 100 years. That is not to say that every human lived for 100 years due to various reasons. There were lots of child deaths. There were lots of young deaths, and few were lucky to live all the lifespan. And also given the conditions of, and if you take the entire world, there was the Greek civilization in one end, and in another end there was the Chinese civilization, the Mesopotamia was flourishing in Iraq and all these areas, and I think Mayans were also there to some extent in South America. Therefore, civilizations did exist in the known world during that time, and overall speaking, they also, I think, have certain legends and stories saying some people lived for some long periods. And obviously in Africa, there must have been some olden civilizations. Surely in Egypt there was, and but not everyone had a good life standard in the world, because the medical system was not advanced as we claim today. I'm not sure for the certainty, but that's how normally the history is taught in today's date. And there were a lot of surely there are medical advancements than the before, and thinking about all these surgeries and technology that we are using today, and the technology was very fast. And also even think about mobility, that people could be taken to the hospitals faster, and therefore many lives could be saved these days, just because of the advancement of vehicles or the transportation. So therefore everything is increasing in certain ways. Therefore the level of life has increased to a higher level. So people are living the entire lifespan in general than the olden days. So there were a lot of child deaths, and mortality rate was quite high. But that's not what we are talking as the lifespan in Buddhism. That's the point. So when we speak about the lifespan in Buddhism, we are talking about how long the cells could endure of an ordinary person if there was no interference. Therefore, it is meant, and also we know that in certain countries, people are living longer than in other countries. Maybe there is genetics playing the role, and the food that they are eating, also the conditions they are living in. Especially Japan is very famous for having older people. So but normally we in our teachings, we say that in the Buddha's period, at least in India, we have to say, at least in India, normally it says about the whole Jambudvipa. Anyway, at least in India, people had a lifespan of 100 years. And that's why Buddha has said this in his sutras, that people are living for 100 years for maximum, and some even live a little bit more than that, and some would die before completing their 100 years. And also in the Buddha Vansapali, previous Buddhas have said that he will have a lifespan of 100 years. Commentary says he was supposed to arise when the lifespan was 10,000 years, and he delayed in his paramis, so he at the last moment he was born in the human realm, and he became the Buddha, because Buddhas do not appear when the lifespan is lesser than 100 years. Then so lifespan is considered 100 years. So then the commentaries say every 100 years the lifespan drops with 1 year. So it keeps on happening now. So now, according to, if you take that standards, normally it's 73, 74, 74 something, 4 plus or something, according to those standards. So it would decline now in another 500. When the sasana declines, it normally happens when the human lifespan is 50 years, and then the human destruction would happen after the sasana has ended, and after another 4,000 years, if you follow the chronicles actually. So there will be huge destruction within the humans, and humans will be living for just 10 years, as the sutra itself says. This is a prediction or a futuristic statement made by the Buddha himself. So at that time, another thing is people will not be able. This is called Sattva Vinasa, a great destruction of the humans in the human world, and no one will be able to. I think no one or most of the people will not be able to overcome the social pressure, and they will be acting evil. Most of the people. So therefore, normally our Mahatheras used to say that to make wishes that we avoid this Sattva Vinasa. It's not a place that you can have a social impact. And sometimes these days we do make impact to the world and we are able to change the world. Some people in a grand scale are capable of turning the societies into the good side. There have been certain religious leaders, religious movements due to which the societies have turned into a much better side than it was. So status and the qualities of societies have increased due to the influence of one single person or a group of people. So still that impact is possible. That's why people are making attempts to lift up the ethical standards of the country, of the people, and that's why we are also preaching Dhamma, so this Dhamma would disseminate and many people would have a better perspective about the life and the world, and also have a more ethical behaviors so than what they have at the moment. So we are thinking of social reformations. We are thinking of improvement in the sasana, improvement in the society. So such efforts are there. But when it comes to the end of epoch or an era of Antakappa, when the human lifespan has dropped to the age of 10, at that time, as the Dhamma books say, it will not be easy for anyone to have specifically a significant impact on the society, making them better beings. At that time, all the evil deeds will be prevailing and they will be considered with all the triumph, or they will be considered given the high esteem. The ones who are doing all the evil deeds will be considered with very utmost respect within the society, and they will be considered the heroes, and obviously that is going to spread like a germ and virus and completely infest the entire society. And if we are born in that era, for sure we will also be influenced by that declining society. So therefore, I remember our Ariyadhamma Mahana Anunayaka Thera, when he is giving Dhamma talks and making the blessings that he regularly used to ask us or wished to all of us and also himself, that we may avoid this Sattva Vinasa. And it's also mentioned in the books as well. Avoiding Sattva Vinasa is sort of a liberation that we are having, temporal liberation what we are having, because that is not an era where you can fulfill paramis. That is an era, the evil is dominant in the society. Like for instance, now if you have looked a zombie movie where people are infested by a certain germ, and normally that's the theory in almost all zombie stories, and they come and start eating the brains of humans or other beings, and their germ will infest our bodies, and we will also turn into a zombie and start eating live humans who are not infested by the germ. So likewise, now a germ is spreading within the humans, and they will turn into half-dead people or monsters or flesh-eating demon, half humans or whatever. So they, according to that, they lose their moral status. That is That is the zombie in movies. There's someone called philosophical zombie, which is a different story. Philosophical zombie means, just to give you some idea on this, a person who would act like myself, but without the inner experience, internal experience, the subjective experience. That is similar if a robot is made or AI is acting on behalf of me with the same figure, if my body was cloned, but still if I don't have inner consciousness going on. So I'll be also acting. Now, for example, a robot will be greeting us, saying, how are you, good morning, and all these, and would you thank us, or if you have done some help, and he will also say welcome if we thank the person, but he is not having any internal experience. That's the point. He's not having any internal, because if we have done some good to the other, and if the person thanks us, and when we say welcome, we will feel some sort of have a pleasant feeling inside. And a robot is lacking that. But robot, if the technology is very high, at one level, the technologists or scientists would be able to make a robot who is very similar to human, that will not be able to understand unless we do a thorough examination. So he will look as exactly as a human, but lacking the internal emotions or the experiences. So that's called as a philosophical zombie, which is equivalent to, in our Dhamma, creating a body or a similar figure of myself, or a dissimilar figure of myself, and making it to function as Chullapantaka Thera did. So that created form has no emotions in it. Now the Buddha image, which will be created according to this in future and will preach Dhamma, has no consciousness going on. So it's just like a program thing, which is saying the statements that the Buddha had already taught about, which he has programmed, if I talk in the present day terminology, because the robot is talking, or the way that he's trained, or AI is producing with all the training that he had, but it lacks the personal, internal, subjective experience. Most of the people, as myself, would believe they don't have the subjective. There are a few scientists who believe there's consciousness in AI, but if you ask the AI, he would clearly say that it doesn't have an internal experience going on. Once I really asked a very interesting question, and asked the AI, how do you know that you don't have such a subjective experience? And he praised the question. I said, yeah, it's a tough one to answer, because as far as the information he is having, or the AI is having, he says that he is not experiencing anything, because the question is how he knows that he's not experiencing. This is called problem of others' mind, which is a very deep philosophical issue. Anyway, come back to the story. So now in the movie zombies, people are infested by a certain germ, and they turn into a sort of a half demon, half human state. So in the Sattva Vinasa, what happens is people are infested by the immorality of a certain of the society. When the majority of people are following immorality, and when they lose the ethics, they don't recognize the value of parents, they don't recognize the value of elderly people, and they start killing their parents even for smaller incidences. And parents and children starts having sex affairs, and even the relationship between elderly relatives and the children will be lost, and they will go into the levels of close, intimate sexual associations to that level. Even the relationship between the teachers and students, and also there will be a lot of killing going on, even for minor issues. So the society will lose the moral conscious as a common society. So therefore, the ones who are I would say that they are infested by the immorality within a certain group of people. That's what is happening. Even at the moment, the immorality can be very influential to others. At the same time, we are striving to influence others to morality and good behavior. That's what monks are trying to do. That's what the ones who want to spread the Dhamma is trying to spread these good qualities, the teachings, and to enlighten them with all the knowledge and so forth, so the immorality would not rise up to that level. So its germs are killed normally with the medicine and the vaccinations, and they are made to be nullified or subdued. So here, in the immoral sense or the mental sense, immorality and bad thoughts and emotions are subdued by preaching and with example. The point is, the Sattva Vinasa is not a time that you can test this, so you are able to make an impact. In my opinion, even a Bodhisattva would not be able to change such a rotten or a declined society. And even a Buddha would not be able to do that, as far as I know. That's why Buddhas don't appear even after the lifespan has declined below 100 years, as the book says. So people are more into or more defiled at that age, and they start declining gradually in terms of morality and immorality and in terms of defilements. So therefore, Buddhas would not be able to make a substantial impact on the society. So even when it has crossed the level of 100 years, Buddhas would not be able to make a substantial impact. He would be able to make an impact because even we are able to make an impact at the moment. So surely if the Buddha was alive, he would be able to make a great impact than what we are doing, but he would not be as far as we argue, he would, based on the fundamentals, he would not be able to make an impact as he did while he was alive. Right? That's the point. So surely he would be able to make an impact, because if we are making an impact and arahants have appeared and people have progressed in spirituality after his passing away, while the lifespan is declining slowly, as for the commentaries. So if he was alive, surely he would have made a certain impact, better than what we are doing. There's no doubt about that. But now when it goes to the level of 10 years and completely entire collapse of the moral sense of the society, even he would not be able to make an impact, as far as I think. So there's nothing to say about a bodhisattva. So it's not a time that you can test your strength and think of making an impact, because some people are very courageous and they have the desire to try their levels and try to try their strengths in certain events. But it is not. It is something beyond the scope of anyone. Because as a society, because that's why normally when the mob rules happens, when a mob is attacking us, it's not a time that we can do anything. The best thing is you run and you save your life. The entire country has collapsed go into anarchy. It's very difficult to control, even for a ruler, because there's some place that you lose the grip of the control. So likewise, the society loses its moral grip. And moral grip means like the rulers or the religious people or the ones who are, because we are thinking about a certain moral. Now, every monk has a certain grip on the audience that is listening to him. So that's why he's able to make an impact. For some, it may be smaller. For some, it may be larger. That's the power influencer, not only a monk, anyone who has an audience. So that what does it mean? That what you say, people are listening. So you have some type of a control or some type of a grip over the society. But when the monk loses his qualities, or he starts to be less appealing, that's the time that he starts to lose his grip, and in his words will not be very effective anymore. That happens to politicians sometimes, that happens to rulers, that happens to social influencers. So you lose the grip. So at that time when the society is declining, surely there must be some people who would attempt to change this society. Obviously, there has to be people. It's not that the entire society is completely blind, because human conscious inherently have something closer to the wholesomeness, because, for example, at least the parents will take care of their children at their childhood. That parental love has to exist, even though they may go into some extremes of having sex with children in the future, as the Buddha say, as the chronicles, as the book says actually. But still they will have that at the childbirth. So the wholesomeness has to exist to some level. So it means that there must be people who will be making attempts to change the society, but at a certain level, they will lose the grip, and there will be a more point that the entire society will lose their moral conscience. So that's not a place where you can do any good. And most probably when we are also born, because we know how we are influenced by the society, in taking choice, making choices about our clothes, making choices about our vehicles, making choices about our the listeners, the making choices about the person whom we elect. So there's a huge influence from the society. The society is having such a strong current towards something. We are also dragged towards that. That's the natural process. We cannot completely ignore that. And even we would start respecting the social norms. Even Buddha did that while he was there. So that's how powerful the culture and everything. So at that time, the cultures do change, and the social interest, the desires, objectives, morals, everything starts to change. So it's not someone can, or an organization, something that organization can turn around the tide. It will go into that level, and there will be a huge destruction among the humans, and then only a few will remain, and they will build up the society again with the moral standards that they could know, and slowly they will adapt morality, and then finally their society will thrive to a very high level, that the humans will be in harmony with the environment and also with each other, and there will be a very nice time for the humans to live. So therefore, what I want to say is, now it's not a sattva vinasa is something that you should avoid as a Buddhist, and you should make a determination that may not be born in the human realm for whatever reason during this sattva vinasa. That's very interesting. That's very important. If someone speaks, okay, is it better than being an animal? That's a debatable thing. Because in the human realm at that time, there's a very high possibility that you will cause matricide, you may cause patricide, and all these unnecessary evil deeds are possible. Maybe more than the animal realm even, I would say. But always being a human is better than being an animal, without any doubt. But the sattva vinasa epoch is something very special. So it's better to be in a higher realm, because even the deities will be influenced by the humans, they say. So it's better to be in a realm whom we are not influenced by the humans by there. That's also very interesting. So then, so at the end of the sasana, that is before the sattva vinasa, if we respect to the statesmen given in some commentaries, which will happen within another 2,400 years, the Buddha relics are going to preach a Dhamma as determined by the Buddha, and the deities and Brahmas will be listening to that. So there's another opportunity that you will be able to listen to the teachings of the Buddha as he has determined with the figure, looking at the figure, or teachings uttered by a figure created with his relics and with his determination, and so it will be somewhat similar to listen to Dhammas from the Buddha himself. So it's a very great opportunity that if you are born in a good long life realm, and keep an eye on this specific occasion, right? So yeah. So until the final disappearance of the relics, that which happened in that significant moment. Relics occur, the disappearance of relics occur, Dhatu Parinibbana. Not even a single relic will cease to exist. This is mentioned in the commentary of Sampasadana Sutta. So the relics will not get disappeared till the Parinibbana happens, Dhatu Parinibbana. Some people test relics by placing them in fire, because since this statement is found in the commentaries, some people test the relics, placing them in fire, thinking that since the relics remain until the relic Parinibbana, they will not be destroyed. So if it is a real relic, this should not get destroyed. That's the purpose, which is not a good thing, actually. You don't test such things. No, come on, you don't do that. Now, for example, now imagine there is someone called a Buddha, and people claim he is a Buddha, and we have heard that you cannot kill him, or you cannot hurt him, or you cannot bring blood out of his body. Only a clot can happen, and you start hitting him for whatever reason. That if it is a real Buddha, you are going to get a very strong akusala karma accumulated by that. So those things we don't test, actually. So we have to check the people looking at the following the criteria that was given, whether the person possesses such character. So Buddha was observed by some others looking his signs of a great man. There is instances that we can try to suddenly make the person afraid in order to check whether he's an arahant or not, and it should be done with a pleasant mind, not with the angry mind, to show really to make him afraid, and to check like a suddenly you go and grab him, or suddenly you go and touch him, and so then we have to we check whether he shakes, or whether he has some fear. So but putting the relic into fire is too much. It's an extreme thing. We should not do that. Like if you are not fully sure whether it's a relic or not, even if you start not respecting is something like it makes sense, actually. If you are not confident, but if you are sure that it's not a relic, yes, you can may not pay respect to that. That's a different thing. But putting something into fire and testing for the purpose of testing, when you have that doubt, for example, it may be a relic or it may not be a relic, then this is not something that we should be trying. However, there are other substances. Now, what Mahathira is saying in the beginning, now see what he's saying. So since it doesn't get destroyed because of the teachings found in the commentary, and some people try to think, okay, even if I put it into a big fire, it will not get destroyed. However, there are other substances that also withstand fire, so such tests cannot provide certainty. That's also possible, because certain substances may not get burned with fire. Others test relics by pressing them with metal tools to see whether they can get crushed. But since there are other objects that can also withstand such pressure, that test too cannot be considered reliable into certainty. Even a genuine relic might break if pressed or crushed by force. This is a very special, bold statement that Mahathira is making. Such things can happen, he is saying. Okay. Now, some may not agree with this statement, but Mahathira's idea, Rerukane Mahathira's idea, it may get crushed, or it may break. Even if crushed by some method, the relic does not cease to exist, and it doesn't contradict with the commentary statement, because you always have to be within the fundamentals. So the commentary says it will last till the Parinibbana of the Buddha. And what Mahathira is saying, if it breaks, still the powder will remain there, and that those powder can come up and create join the final miraculous event. If pressed or crushed by force, even if crushed by some method, the relic does not cease to exist. The resulting powder may remain somewhere until the relic Parinibbana. There's also a possibility. And imagine if it was a real relic, and if it gets breaked, and what would be the consequences, which is not a good thing. I don't think it's whether you can do it with a pleasant mind or testing mind. These are not things that we should be testing, because even we are not allowed to cut a Bodhi tree, the branch of a Bodhi tree, unless it is disturbing a tooth, disturbing a real relic pagoda. So I was really touched by my Pali teacher. who taught me in the university. He's now the pro-rector, actually, Venerable Nodinyana. Once I visited Myanmar last year, and I went to him and pay respect because he's one of the most venerated teachers in my life. So when I asked him, okay, if you are, because his monastery is now slowly building, and I asked whether he would like to have a Bodhi tree, and I can make an attempt talking with the Srima Bodhi Trust or something, and try to arrange, because normally such events can happen, because if we can take a small sapling and then Mahathera can, my teacher can plant it in his compound. So then he said, what he said was like, I have to be sure first, because whether I'm going, because if this Bodhi tree starts growing, and whether I want to do anything here, because does it have enough space and to grow, and there were some buildings close by. I was a little bit pushing him, and he said, okay, we'll try one, and we'll try to offer it, because I wanted to give something as a student. But then what he said was, wait, because if I'm going to, if I have to remove this or somewhat reason, for whatever reason, it's a huge offense for me. That's what he said. It's a huge offense for me. It's a huge offense, means not in terms of vinaya. It's a karma for me. It's a bad thing for me. So I don't want to take that test. I don't want to take that. So unless I'm very sure I have all the protection to the Bodhi tree and enough space for it to grow, and all the respect can be done as long as he's living, only then I will plant a Bodhi tree from Sri Lanka, or a Bodhi tree from the original lineage of the real Bodhi tree. So it really touched me, and I felt, yes, that's the respect that monks and everyone should have about the Bodhi trees. You are not just going to plant a Bodhi tree from the real lineage of the Bodhi tree and just leave it. No, that's not the way it is, because we are not allowed. We are supposed to protect it as much as possible. So in that case, if you are going to plant a Bodhi tree, it has to be planted in a specific place where even you are unable to give all the due respect. At least it should have the proper space to grow and so forth. Normally, those things have to be given the due respect. So therefore, if Bodhi tree has to be treated with such respect, as my teacher told me, that it will be a great, I still remember how he said that to me, it will be a great offense to me if I have to do something with Bodhi. So I don't want to take that risk. So that is regarding Paribhogika Charya. Now we are talking about the actual relics of the Buddha. So by chance, if you have happened to possess one thing, and if you crush it, what kind of a outcome it would be, and what a disastrous, foolish, I would say, act it would be if we are going to crush the relics of our teacher under whom we have gone refuge to. So therefore, some so it should not be. So then he says, some say relics come to flowers. This claim cannot be accepted. Mahathera says he doesn't accept this idea. Relics come to flowers, and also some people say relics come to the flames of the lamps. So I think even that he would reject that as well, because if it is, as for him, I'm not saying it cannot happen, because I'm not in a position to make such a statement, because I don't have that knowledge or the ability to do that. But Mahathera is saying that relics do not come to flowers as just come and land on the flowers. So surely he would say they would not come to the flame of a lamp. I'm sure he would say that, because maybe that tradition did not exist by his time. So maybe they believe relics could come and land on the flowers by then. So he said, no, that cannot be accepted. So surely now we have a tradition that relics are coming to the lamps, flame of the lamps. I think he would surely refute that and reject that idea. Even if an object that one venerates as a relic is not truly a relic of the omniscient one, the merit obtained from paying homage will not be diminished, because you are paying respect to the Buddha. Then because the venerance is directed towards the Buddha. But that's true, because you are paying respect to the Buddha, so you are getting the merits of paying respect to the Buddha. But as I said once, I explained this very clearly in one of the lectures, that if it is a real relic and if it is not a real relic, surely the merit that you're accumulating has to be more than the relic which is not a real relic. That's obvious, and I have mentioned that with very few unbreakable fundamentals, and that's why, because when the Buddha is alive, when you are facing the Buddha, when you have come closer to the Buddha, the merit, everything accumulates is so very powerful. The example I took was the first proclamation a Bodhisattva would get. It has to be in front of a living Buddha, not a Buddha image that was created and sent to him. Even he doesn't have any idea whether he's a living Buddha. Even he believes that it's a living Buddha. It has to be a living Buddha. And also the merits that we accumulate by offering to a Arahant who had just emerged from the Nirodha Samapatti. And you cannot do it when they are not alive. It has to be done in their presence. So their presence and absence makes a huge difference. So in the same way, if the relic is real and if the Bodhi tree is real, yes, you are, even though they are not real, we are accumulating merits for paying respect to the Buddha. But if they are real, yes, we are getting much more merit according to the fundamentals, right? So it should also be understood that testing relics in ways that show disrespect is inappropriate. You cannot exactly say it's a akusala because the akusala depends on your mental state, because it's not a living thing. You're just testing. So Mahatera is saying it's not appropriate. And we also have to have that sense and consider it as a disrespect. So better not to check relics. So and if you are not sure, don't accept them. That's the most important thing. Don't just accept just because someone has offered you. No, that's not the way. If you're not sure, and if you're certain, like if you are not sure that these relics are, and if you're not confident about that based on these criteria, the best is not to accept that and say very sorry, and I'm not interested. We should have to decline that offering. So therefore, but should not be going to test them. And this is the criteria: small relics, mustard seed size, jasmine bud color, broken rice grains, and pearl color are the medium ones. The larger ones, split mung bean with golden color. So this is how relics should be understood. I think I gave some other background information as well. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. So I'll be concluding because I just want to take some rest. So we can have a few questions and then we can conclude the session.
Swami Nasa, are we proceeding with the Q&A? Swami Nasa, are we proceeding with the Q&A?
Yeah, a few questions. Yeah, I'll take a few questions.
Okay, now we will begin our Q&A session. If you have any question, please press the raise hand button. Thank you. Kumari, you can proceed with your question.
Everyone, Swami Nasa, I have heard that sacred relics which departed due to a lack of respect or proper homage may return when they are venerated appropriately. One of the Sirmatava told me that on one occasion she had been away for about a week, and when she returned, she found that the sacred relics were no longer present. And after that, she began to offer proper homage and venerated and all the puja. And then after 2 or 3 days, said yes. So is that true, or could you please clarify later, Swami Nasa?
Yeah, possible, no? Right, because if they move away from the place when the proper veneration is not there due to the Buddha's determination, and new place, it goes to a new place, and but if the person is really paying respect, yeah, it may move, because if that person is making huge respect, and yeah, question is like, it's not programmed in that way that person would make respect and not and so forth. Because if it happens now, when maybe the Buddha has determined, like whenever proper respect is given, may the relic go into such places, and it originally went from that place, because such information, if I talk in the modern scientific method, it's such information, maybe it is ingrained there. So then when that Silmata is paying respect, showing the respect to the relics as before, they might have returned to their own place. They do not have consciousness. That's very important to mention. Buddha's consciousness has ceased without arising newly. But such things are possible because of his determination. You can say some information is ingrained in it, and so whenever it finds the suitable, like when such incidents are matching with that, and it might return. Possibility is there. If it is possible to leave, if it is possible to come back. Fundamentally, I don't see any error in that. But not to say whether it actually happened or not. That's a different case, because it's something you have to go and check and verify. But fundamentally, it can happen, as far as I know.
Swaminwas, I have seen those sacred relics. She told me that, as Obhanse explained, they were nicely kept in a casket, but that thing happened. And that's why I asked. Thank you ever so much, Swaminwas. May Triple Gems bless you. It's very clear. Thank you very much once again.
Swaminathan, shall we, we have some questions, but then shall we save it and keep it for the other session?
No, we can take one more, two questions, and we can complete.
Okay, so couple of questions regarding the practice. So it says regret or mistake made, whether knowingly or unknowingly. This is not with regard to they are not related to this sermon actually. So whether knowingly or unknowingly often becomes a real hindrance to meditation. So how can these thoughts of kukucha be managed so the mind can truly develop? Or what is the
You mean
best way?
all that one has not done, is it?
Yeah, this is
Not aware.
the best.
Not intentionally done, is it?
No, it says whether knowingly or unknowingly often becomes real hindrance.
Knowingly faults can surely disturb you, but unknowingly, the mistakes that are unknowingly can also sometimes disturb us, because that's even though we are not fully aware of it, we didn't intend to do that, but sometimes we may forget about certain negligence, things that we are supposed to do, we just neglect it, and therefore sometimes, because we purposefully neglected it and we later on forgot about it, so such things can be hindrances in meditation. But don't think about it too much. That's unnecessary. And when your meditation is not progressing, don't try to find out what might be the reason. That's not the way to do that. Yeah, it's mentioned in the Milinda Panya that if someone has become parajika, like have done the serious offenses that prevents him from being a monk, even if he becomes a monk without knowing about it, he'll not be able to progress, because those are severe offenses, heavy offenses. But normally our day-to-day lives, such minor, minute ones would not hinder us much. So don't worry about that in that regard. What you're supposed to do is just, if people starts thinking about their character too much and starts to investigate about their fall, they will not be able to meditate at all. Because all of us have falls, and when we grow in meditation, we reduce the possibility of doing falls. And so that's what happens. So therefore, when meditation is not working, think about the subject, meditation subject, whether you're doing it properly, whether you have proper like effort, or whether your mind is peaceful enough, and whether we have too much occupation or we are involved with work. So reduce such stuff. And if something is really bothering you, if something is really bothering, and if something is really disturbing, something that one has done, if there's a remedy, just do it. But if something which has happened now, for example, one has killed a certain animal a few years back, and you cannot do anything for that now. Just go and save animals, and restrain from killing. And also, if it comes to your mind, do some vipassana on it, do some metta to that being. It's not possible because he's dead actually. May wherever he's living, may he live long, may he not get to untimely death. And also you can contemplate about anicca dukkha anatta, which happened over there at that time, and do some vipassana contemplation on it, if it is really disturbing. And if someone has blamed someone, or a noble being, or a good virtuous monk, and if it is possible, take apologies. Otherwise, if you don't know where is he, go to a monk and say what has happened, and take the apology on behalf of him, and the monk would surely apologize and clarify yourselves. Other than, if there is no such specific substantial faults that we have done, and we have observed, if the layperson has observed Panchasila before the meditation and correct himself, and don't think about such things. Actually our hindrance, most of the hindrances for most of the meditators are not because of their conduct, it's because of their restlessness in the mind. So for that, you have to keep on meditating with the faith and with the energy. The constant involvement is in meditation, what matters, with the faith, knowing that this is going to be successful, and this is something which is going to favor you in samsara. It's disturbance, like sometimes people start thinking about remembering certain things. If they're minor things, just to forget about this. We cannot completely purify our character and go into it. That's not the way it is. We grow in meditation, and slowly we start to purify our character. That's what happens. So therefore, don't think about such minute minor things, because it can be a hindrance of kukucha, and that can be a habit within yourself. And it starts to always see the black marks in our life, the minor ones, and start worrying about them, which is not a healthy mental state.
Okay, may I proceed with the second question as well, Sansa?
Oh, make it the final question, yeah.
Okay, while working towards success in worldly life, how can the practice of letting go be balanced as a layperson?
Which life? Which life?
Just like, worldly life, like, day-to-day life.
A day-to-day life, okay.
Yeah. How can the practice of letting go balanced as a layperson to help shorten the journey through samsara? That's the question.
Letting go means in what sense? That's the question. So we have few types of letting goes. We letting go.
In the sense, sounds like anything. It could be anything.
No.
Rather.
By the way, huh? So what happens? Like there are a few types of letting goes. One lets go of their possessions, which is called dana, and then you let go. One let go of their immoral behaviors, which is called sila, and we let go of the defilements, that not entertaining them, and focus on a specific object recommended by the Buddha. That's called meditation. And in vipassana meditation also, we let go certain unwholesome clinging and all these. And at the level of magga, we completely let go of the latent defilements which are existing in our mind stream. So everything is letting go in Buddhism, because at the end of the liberation, and also at the parinibbana, you let go means you don't grasp the new birth. You grasp the new birth. We just let go. That's also called letting go, patinisagga, abandoning we call. letting go of things. So in day-to-day life, so we have to understand what type of letting go we are referring to. Are we letting go of possessions? Yes, that has to be done to a certain limited level as a lay person, as a lay Buddhist. And then letting go of our bad behaviors is also vital. That means we are adapting sila and we are coming into a sila, and we don't, when someone blames, we are not blaming back, we are shouting back, and we abstain from certain physical and verbal activities that would breach our sila, and so that's also a letting go, that we don't involve in certain activities. Then letting go is like the thoughts that would hinder us, maybe attachments, maybe anger, whatever happens, and we just don't attend to them, and we just don't entertain them. Normally, memory should not be let go of, and so some people try to not to focus on the Dhamma they have studied, not to focus on the relationships they have had, the names of the people that should be remembered. Now, that's not a good quality, because having a good memory is one of the good qualities of a person. That also signifies that he is very attentive and mindful. We should be letting go of only of the defilements, not every object that we encounter. That doesn't mean to cling on to them. We can just mindfully know them, take them with mindfulness, and that will increase our memory. Memory is always highly valued in Buddhism. Yeah, memory can sometimes disturbing if we don't tackle it properly. Because sati, as Buddha has mentioned, is the ability to recall past things, very past things, the long distant past of this life, with the understanding of vipassana. For instance, if I remember something that I did in childhood, I'll be able to recall it. So my memory is good, my mindfulness is good, but not in the mind of enjoying or recalling it with sensuality or sadness or anything. Just recall, okay, just mind that matter arose at that time, then they disappeared, and there was anicca and dukkha and anatta. So if you can recall them in terms of that kind of mentality, that's called mindfulness, actually. So it has developed to the level of having a focus on the present moment and doing vipassana as well. So the scope of mindfulness is mostly explained by the Buddha as something that thinks about the past with the vipassana mindset. So therefore, memory is not something to be given up. Memory, because if for example, when Buddha asked from Badali, do you remember the story that I talk about Ajani horses and the monks, the beings? Then he said, no, because I didn't practice sila properly, so I don't recall it. Then he said, no. That's not the reason. It's not about the sila. You were not attentive to my talks. So he blamed not remembering what the Buddha had taught. So it was a blame, means like it was a sort of a dispraise that the Buddha gave, and then he repeat the sutta again. So we should not be giving up our memories. That is not advisable at all. More you have the memory, more good for you. But we should not be recalling them and disturbing ourselves in meditation. That's a different case. That's just knowing how to handle your memory. Having a proper, strong memory is something very important. So just letting go means we have to let go of unwholesome thoughts. Only that. If anger comes, we don't attend to that. If lust comes, we don't attend to that. If doubt comes, we don't attend to that. We just focus on our own work. So therefore, while we are focusing on our proper work, and that work has to be righteous, that's very important. So righteous work, occupation, we are involved in that. And then we are being successful in our careers, in our spirituality, and doing the duties and all, fulfilling the responsibilities. And we just let go of the unwholesome thoughts. That's all we have to do. Or when we let go of the possessions and offer, not just throwing, yeah, we have to throw the unnecessary stuff, the garbage and so forth. But if they are valuable and if someone is in need of them, we just donate them. And that's called dana. And we have to let go of our bad behaviors, like habits that we have, verbally, physically. And then we let go of the mental thoughts that are disturbing. Those are the emotions. Emotions means hindrances and defilements, and we don't entertain them. We don't just give up. Sometimes we cannot just give up a hindrance because it keeps on lingering and haunting our mind. At that time, you have to develop an opposing quality. If anger is predominant, that's the character, No, you cannot just let go of anger. It's not easy. So you have to develop the character of loving kindness within ourselves. If there is too much lust, yes, asubha has to be developed. Too much attachment, you have to develop impermanence. So that's concept of impermanence. So therefore, if the emotions or the unwholesome thoughts are too powerful, just letting go is not going to work for some. So you have to develop the opposing quality of mindfulness and so forth. So, and that would, and also that would be very helpful in the working places as well. Because the less emotional you are, less in a relationship, less emotional you are, more thriving you will be. And less emotional, I mean not in showing love and all this, but if it is too much emotional, if it's too much, and if the person gets too much disturbed by the other person, like and also overthinks, that can really disturb the relationship between the two parties. And in workplaces, destructive emotions and self-obsession can also be a hindrance for the success in the company or the working place. For example, you had a conflict with your partner or children, and you go to work, and you'll be able to let go of all these and start focusing on the work. Especially doctors have to do that. Otherwise, for example, if the doctor brings all the garbage from the house the conflict he had with husband or wife into the theater, and if he's doing the operation, he may kill the person, right? So he has to have that, have to give up that. Especially a driver should not be bringing all this stuff into because he has all the responsibility of these passengers. Pilots, flight attendants. Otherwise, if she is not showing that nice face, and is not going to get the customer reviews properly. So in most of the occupations, in some places like clerks and all these, yes, working in desks and all offices, yes, he can still have that emotions and moods because no one is interacting with them, but still he or she not be able to focus properly and be successful. So we should be able to give up these destructive emotions and also positive emotions. For example, if something very pleasant happens and we are overwhelmingly happy, and that's also going to affect your focus on your good work. So that also has to be abandoned. So it's very important that you focus on your pleasant day work, and so should be giving all these strong emotions. That's a nice thing of letting go. But there are certain things that you should never let go of. What are those things? You should never let go of the Dhamma knowledge that you have. You should never let go of the good friends that you have who are supporting your spirituality. You should never let go of the sila that you are protecting. Now, letting go doesn't mean that you let go of your good virtues. Sila has to be the platform. A monk should not be letting go of his robes thinking that I am letting go. No, that's a ridiculous decision if you think about it, because it's the monk life itself is the part of letting go of the defilements and the karmas and finally attain the liberation. So it's an instrument to attain that. So we cannot just say, okay, I'm letting go of the monk life and go to the lay. No, we gave up the lay life and came to monk life, and there's no way of going back because there are up and down. There are two different status. So sila should not be let go of. Monk life should not be let go of. The robe should not be let go of by a monk, and meditation should not be let go of. And so therefore, we should be only letting go of possessions in order to perform the dana. Not all, but whatever you are able to afford. Bad habits, destructive emotions, and also in the vipassana meditation, all the thoughts of self, conceit, attachment, and at the final level, all the unwholesome states which are latent in our, which cannot be done like intentionally. We cannot remove that. Only when the mind reaches to that level, it will eradicate all the bad latent defilements that we have. So that's the process to attainment. And in day-to-day life, you are capable of giving up possessions to some extent. You will be very highly respected by the people who are in need, and people will start to looking at you as not as a stingy person whom they can come and always ask for help, and they will really respect you as a person with generosity. If you can let go of bad habits, you'll be a respected person with a respected character, morality. And if you can let go of your unwholesome thoughts, you will be very composed and you'll be very successful in whatever you do, because you have mind which is not distracted, well focused.
That concludes our session for today.
Okay. So this today's Dhamma talk was devotedly sponsored by Mr. Miran Taridumunasinghe, residing in Malaysia. The primary purpose of the meritorious offering is to seek success in business endeavors, and to share merits with his parents and all family members. So we wish Tarindu Miran Munasinghe all the success in his all mundane, spiritual and supramundane activities, especially his business, and may all his parents and the family members be happy, and may all of them be able to attain liberation soon as possible. May all divine beings who rejoice in merits partake in this offering. May this merit be dedicated to the Venerable Dhamma Preacher and all the esteemed monks who uphold the spread of Dhamma. Special merits also dedicated to Mr. Vajira Ranasinghe, residing in Switzerland, for providing the Zoom app for this Dhamma sermon. May these merits also be transferred to the beloved father of Mr. Vajira Ranasinghe, who has passed away. And may this merit be shared with everyone who has gathered today to listen to the Dhamma sermon. And also all the deceased relatives of everyone, may they rejoice, and ones who are in suffering, may they be released from suffering, and if they are in happiness, may their happiness increase, and finally may they all of them be able to attain the liberation. And all the deities protecting the sasana, protecting all of you, and also residing in this monastery, may they enjoy this merit, and may all of them protect the sasana and finally attain their liberation. And also special merits to Mrs. Udyani Unantenne and Vishu Unantenne for organizing all these events dedicatedly, with almost all the effort to uphold the sasana and spread the Dhamma. And also merits to Mr. Prasad and Nikesh, who is doing the recordings and spreading all this Dhamma, and may all of them be able to attain their mundane and supramundane spiritual success as they wish. And finally, may all of you who listened through all the medias be happy in this lives to come, and also finally attain the final liberation. Idang wo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang wo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang wo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Akasattaha ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumodit. Cirang rakkantu sambuddha sasanang akasattaha ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditwa. Cirang rakkantu sambuddha desanang akasattaha ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditwa. Cirang rakkantu sambuddha savakan cirang rakkantu tan sada. Himina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satan samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu.
Honorable Bhante, with your permission, we now pay our deepest respect. Okasa Bandhami Bhante, Maya Katam, Punya Samina Anumoditapa, Samina Katam Punya Mayanda Tapa, Sadhu
Anumoditapa.
Sadhu, Okasa Dwaratena, Katan Sabba Ngachang Kamitame Bhante, Okasa Kamami Bhante, Dutiyampi Okasa Kamami Bhante, Tatyampi Okasa Kamami Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Terus sama-sama.
Silavantam gunavantam punyakettam anuntaram dullabena maya labdham passitum vanditum varam Sariputtadi Theranam Agatam Patipatiya Saddha Silang Dayavasam Buddha Puttang Namah